Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The topic is probability of simple events. First, I will tell you the theory of probability. Concept of probability originated in 16th century. Italian physician mathematician J. Cardan wrote his first book on subject, the book on games of chance. In his book, he wrote about the probability, gambling, and such any other games in which probability is used. Now, objectives of probability of simple events. Students will be able to find the probability of simple event. Students will be able to understand the distinction between the simple event and the compound events. And such essential question in the probability of simple events are: how do we find the probability of simple event, and how can we distinguish between the simple event and compound event? Now I will tell you about the definition of the probability. What is the probability? Probability is the chance that some event will happen. It is the ratio of the number of the ways of a certain event can occur to a number of possible outcomes. When we perform a scientific experiment, we will obtain a certain result or outcome, but however in probability, the result or the outcome is not certain. It depends upon a chance. Basically, probability is the chance. Probability means how we measure the chance. For example, in everyday life, we use the words such as likely, unlikely, or certain to describe the chance of event occurring. The measure of chance, which takes on value between 0 and 1 is inclusive, is known as probability. Here are some examples of probability experiments or outcomes. For example, the first example is here, tossing a coin. When we toss a coin, there are two options. Maybe head occur, maybe the tail. So the possible outcomes are head and tail. So the sample space of coin is head and tail. When we roll a fair die, there are 6 faces of die. That is written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the possible outcomes of dice are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Here, such as in the cards, the identical cards, the numbers 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, so on. So the sample space of these cards when one card is drawn is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. Similarly, in this bag there are 5 balls. 3 are white and 2 are black. So the sample space of this bag is, the possible outcome of this bag is 2 black balls and 3 white balls. Now this is the spinner. The spinner, red, orange, purple, yellow and green colors are on this spinner. So the possible outcome or the sample space of the spinner is orange, red, green, yellow and purple. It means when the spinner is spun, only the one color occurs, which is pointed. For this, to understand more, here is example of the fair die. A fair die is rolled. Write down the sample space and state the total number of possible outcomes. So what is the solution of this question is, a die has numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on its 6 faces. That is, the sample space consists of the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So the total number of possible outcomes are 6. So the vocabulary I used in this is outcome. Outcome means one possible result of the probability. And the sample space. Sample space means the list of all the possible outcomes for the probability event that I have already explained you. What is random? Random outcome that occurs at random if each outcome is equally likely to occur. Mean every event is, outcome is identical. What is simple event now? A specific outcome or a type of outcome which is required or which is need to be answered. The next one is complementary event. the events of one outcome happening and that outcomes not happening or complementary, the sum of the probabilities of complementary event is always 1, and probability always lies in between 0 and 1, where 0 and 1 is inclusive. Now come to the formula. What is the formula of probability? Probability of event equals to all the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total number of possible outcomes. In other words, we can also say the probability is ratio of the outcomes and of ratio to the total number of possible outcomes. Examples that may be used in probability is dice, spinner, coins, deck of cards, even odd numbers, alphabet, etc. In coming slides, I will explain you all these things. Once again, the definition of the probability. Probability is the chance that some event will happen. It is the ratio, I'm telling you again, it is the ratio of the number of the ways a certain event can occur to the total number of possible outcomes. What is sample point or trial, outcome or event? Here in this, I again and again use the word sample point, event, outcome, trial. I will explain you in the different ways. Sample point is the most basic outcome of random experiment, or we can also say an event is an occurrence of the activity that is possible. Outcome is the possible result of an event. Success in an outcome that we want to measure. Maybe it is failure. A failure is also an account that we don't want to measure, or maybe we need the failure to measure. So these all are maybe outcome, maybe sample or event which we need or required. Now what is sample space? Set of all possible outcome that can occur of random experiment. It is also known as universal set, and it is denoted by Greek letter omega or capital S. For example, the sample space of the deck of cards, possible number of outcomes is 52, or when we roll a fair die, the possible outcomes in fair die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number of possible outcomes is 6. When we flip a coin, then the possible outcomes of coin is 2, that is head and tail.